Mediumship Monday. I'm sitting where I haven't had. I'm sitting back in the common house, not at my house because I have a client tonight. So I decided to come over here. So I have the spotlight on me tonight, which I haven't had in a long time. How does it look? I hope it looks okay. So tonight, thanks so much for joining. I really appreciate it. I'm going to make everybody be able to see those chats. There's just a couple like housekeeping things that I have to do every time I do one of these, just to make sure that it's all together. So I love to share stories as I do mediumship. And if you have ever been to a group, you know that is true. And speaking of groups, I need to make sure that I tell you, what do I need to make sure I tell you? I need to make sure that I let you know that I am doing a group, at Sal's Italian restaurant. I'll be doing a group there April 24th, which happens to be like my best friend in the whole entire world's birthday, but she's not here. So I am going to be doing a group reading there. And I will be there again. The doors open at 4:00 and readings start at 6. I show up at 6 and read from 6 to 8. And hi, Krista. It's good to see you. I just want to, so what I was saying is that it just keeps getting bigger and bigger. That means I can't see things. I'm sorry. This always just takes a few minutes kind of for me to get myself going on the right track, or more. It could take longer. So, hi, Ryan. Hey, Ursi. It's good to see you. I haven't seen you. I haven't talked to you in forever. It's been a busy, crazy. I hope you're feeling better. Okay. So I always I always share things that have happened to me. And I always like to share this story. So years and years, I guess it's been years now. It's probably 6 years, because it was probably right when I first moved back to Michigan from Colorado. I'm just keep playing with my hair. I'm going to keep messing it up. And I went and saw the Long Island Medium when she was close by. It was a present. So I went and saw the Long Island Medium, and I guess I want to wait back. This is ridiculous. Obviously, I don't plan any of this stuff. So I want to back up a bit. When you're seeing a medium, and they're like a real medium, it can be pretty discombobulating, because they're telling you things that you're like, there's no way you should know that. You should know these things. You'll forget everything. You'll forget when you were born, when your parents were born, when your loved ones died, what month it is, what day it is. You'll forget the simplest things, like your name. That has actually happened. That has absolutely happened to me, where I've been in a group reading and literally said the person's name and their occupation, and it just went whoosh. So I want to say that's completely normal. And it's sort of, it's not usual that you meet, like Ursula Darby is on here. I think she's still on here. I hope she is. And she's a great medium up in Canada and in Ontario region. She's amazing. And we joke about this because it happens all the time. And sometimes really hard for mediums, like when you're accurate, it's a difficult thing because you're just there's so many expectations. So I always try and make the group be really like calm, and I explain what I'm seeing, how I see it, why I see it. And I usually get all the time, right? This happens all the time. You forgot your name. It's what happens. It just absolutely happens. So I want to share something with you. I went and saw the Long Island Medium about 6 years ago when I came back from Boulder, and I was super excited. I call new vampires baby vampires. They just use a lot of energy. They need a lot of energy. They're like super intense. And so I was a baby vampire, and I went and saw a baby vampire medium. I'm not a vampire, but I was a little, it's ridiculous. Do not make jokes about me, Ursula. Anyway, so I went and saw her, and I had amazing. I mean, I was sitting. She came down and she talked to me. she started saying, how do you say this? And I said how I pronounced it. She pronounced it the same way. And she was like, yeah, I knew I like you. And it can be overwhelming when you're in a group, because what ended up happening to me is there was a group of about 10 people behind me. I was there by myself. There was another person that was right in front of me getting a reading. So all these people were around me getting readings, and they were getting rowdy. They wanted everything. Come. And it was just every single time she said something, she raised her hand. They would raise their hand. They'd jump up like, no, that's for me. No, that's for me. No, that's for me. And it wasn't for them. But she said something that hit me, and I totally went over my head. She had said I know, don't give me, this is kind of hard too. So she said, I have a younger male. Well, her younger male is very different than what my younger male definition is. So sometimes I want you to know, like, it's okay to ask me, the medium, could you have meant this? Did you mean this? Without being like bombarding the reading. Because what ended up happening is her idea was a younger male was anybody who was passed before their time. That was her definition, okay? My definition of a younger male is something very different. So I didn't catch when it was my reading. I totally missed it. The people behind me were jumping up and down there saying, no, that's me, that's me. And she's like, I've been with you too long. I'm not going to do any more readings for you. And I didn't get it right. I just didn't get it right. It was just too much. It was too much. She even went so far, because I was so stunned and so freaking out, that she went so far as to say, I have a weird name that I've never heard before. And there are not many Jannies in the world, like, at all. It's just Janny. And there aren't many Jannies. She couldn't pronounce it, but I even missed that part. And I don't think I've ever shared that with anybody that I've shared the story with. So what the heck does that mean? I'm sitting on the stairs. I'm going to sound like I've seen a lot of people work. I love to see mediums work. It's like my pastime. It's one of my, it's like, I don't say a hobby. I mean, I just like to do it. If there's a chance to go see a medium that I admire work, I really like to go see them, because I love to watch how they work. I love to see how they do it. It's like watching a symphony to me. It's so amazing to see how they connect and how you know when they're connecting and how it all goes through. It's just beautiful, right? So I love that as well. And I know that there's people that come in that kind of express the same thing. So I really understand those things. So so I was sitting on the stairs, and there was another, this is like a long time session, probably about 8 years ago. And some of the things that she told me from 8 years ago are now come to fruition. And there's something happening in my life that I've like sat back and I've been waiting, because it's always like, you're not going to feel planted until this thing happens, until this happens, until that happens. And I was sitting on my stairs today, and it hit me like a ton of bricks, this huge epiphany. I mean, I have a couple epiphanies about consciousness. We're going to have to save that for another day. But I want to talk about this epiphany as I'm sitting on my stairs, taking off my shoes, because, oh my God, it was like 78 degrees here today. And I was thinking about what this medium told me from 8 years ago. And I was astonished at how many things had happened. And one of the things she said was, you are not going to feel like you belong here until this happens. And she's absolutely right. I've never felt like I've really fully belonged in Michigan, or I really fully belonged in Colorado, or like pretty much anywhere. As long as I got my kids, I'm home, kind of a thing. But what ended up happening as I sat there in my huge epiphany, I realized, like, oh my goodness. Maybe I got it wrong. Maybe I didn't do it right. Maybe I didn't get it right. Maybe I didn't do the right things to make the right thing happen. And here I am sort of like, well, when this thing happens, it's going to happen. Maybe I didn't put the work into it. Maybe I didn't follow through with something I needed to follow through with. Maybe I didn't jump full forward into mediumship like I could have, should have, would have done it. And I sat there and I thought, oh my gosh, maybe I didn't get it right, but it doesn't mean that I can't get it right now. I really want you to think about that. That is like one of the most, and that like literally I came up with that. Or I probably didn't come up with it. Some spirit told me it, I'm sure. Like I should never take credit for anything like that because it wasn't me. It's maybe I didn't get it right, but I can get it right now. I can do the work. I can do the things that I've been thinking about for years and I haven't followed through with, or that the things that I know that would make me happy, that I know would bring things into fruition that I would enjoy. I have another example of that, and I'm going to I love using myself as examples. So, and Dana is, I think Dana Dunn. Dana Dunn, you're the best. You are a medium groupie. Nope, it's not Yanni, it's Gianni, even though I think Siri pronounces me Yanni. I do love mediums, though. I do love me some mediums. If you ever want to have a fun time, get around a medium, take them out. You're going to have a blast. They're a one-person party, right, Ursula? Okay, so I did get it right, but I could do it right now. And one of the other, Dana is a really good friend of mine, and she happens to be a PT. I have been limping with a hip limp for about the past year, and I haven't done anything about it. So Dana finally got me over to her house and finally got me to start to take care of my hip. And I am a new person. In the past 3 weeks, I finally put energy and time into myself, and I am now a new person for it. I mean, it doesn't hurt that the sunshine is out and it's like crazy, wicked warm, but I'm a new person because of the energy that I put into it. I stopped just sitting around. I stopped limping around. I stopped like having crutches always on the ready to make sure that if I felt like I wasn't going to be able to make it anywhere, because nothing's stopping me. Look, if I'm going somewhere, we're going. If I'm on crutches or I'm crawling, I'm going to keep going. So it's all about what you put into where your goals and what you're seeing for yourself. Okay, does that make sense? Stop what? I don't know what I said, but Ursula told me to stop, so I should stop. Okay, we're done. No. Yeah, no, you know what? Ursula has a great comment there. She's, like I said, she's the medium in Canada. She's a really good friend of mine. And she says, it's hard to affirm the details we give because there's usually so many of them. They will always find a place to land. It is always a place where you really begin to, they'll always find a place. And I kind of want to give an example of a session that I had yesterday with a client, and I kept seeing yellow flowers. I like seeing yellow flowers. And they're like, no, nope, I don't know what that is. And then it realized like, you went to the grave, and you at the cemetery at the marker, you put yellow flowers. So, oh yeah, that's the yellow flowers. So that's the kind of way it happens. There's nothing in here that is if they delivered it in New York Times font, I would be so happy. It doesn't come that way. It comes in mental charades. So you have to be willing to have a conversation, no matter how nervous you are, okay? It doesn't matter if it's me, if it's Ursula, if it's this, ask for clarification. If you're going to see a psychic, ask for clarification. Do not ask leading questions. Ask for clarification about what they have said. Does that make sense? I don't want you to start leading anybody around by the nose, because that's not going to be helpful for anybody, and especially the person who's actually trying to give the reading and make it be something that's useful and beneficial for you. I hope that makes sense. Okay. Does anybody have any questions about that before we all get on? Yeah, it is really interesting when you hear the same messages from different mediums. I think that's worthwhile talking about, quite honestly, because one of the things that I say when it comes to mediumship, sometimes I'm just telling you the exact same thing that you were thinking, that you knew, that you are understanding about your unfoldment. Sometimes you hear the same thing from a medium. Let's say you go to one. You go to one and they tell you that. And you go to another one and they tell you the exact same thing. Or they tell the exact same thing, maybe with a different flair and a different touch, because ain't nobody seeing it like me and ain't nobody seeing it like Ursula. We have our own take and understanding with how we communicate with spirit. But if you're seeing messages from different mediums, I always want to say, careful about spending a ton of money on mediums. You have to, you can have these connections yourself. That's number one. Number two, it really is spirit telling you something. And sometimes it is in the perception and on the understanding of what actually, what that medium is trying to say. That makes sense. So, and your perception is very, oh gosh, a whole lot of, okay, total sense. You went to Korea and had, oh, that's so sweet. And had the same similar messages that Jana gave me. I love that. I mean, that's like gold, man. That's like, you really got what you needed every time. And I mean, there's nothing better than spirit jumping up and saying, these are the truths. This is the truth. This is the truth. So take it, make sure you really hold on to it. And know, I just, for whatever reason, life is busy, life is stressful. There's 1.5 million things going on all the time. We're losing people, losing jobs, adding people into our fray, getting rid of the ones that don't work, getting new jobs, get rid of the old jobs, or doing that 10 times over. So life is busy. It's really important not to lose sight of the work, okay? And that is your work that you need to do in your life. If you've been watching this, I have alluded a couple of times very, very quietly, which I'm not going to be so quiet now, but very quietly about how I am in absolutely love Married at First Sight, the Australian version, which just ended. First, I'm not a huge fan of the Australian accent. It's got some problems. Second, and Ursula said that to me once, and I thought, whatever, Ursula, but she's so right. Oh, sit with them. Yep. Take your time. Sit with the messages. Yep. So in this, it's such trash reality TV, but it's, I got to have some fun in my life too. And sometimes I think that's fun. So I'm sitting there and I'm watching this show, and it struck me, as they're being very catty with each other and fighting back and forth and not listening to each other and not caring about each other. I get what I want, and that's what I want. That's what I'm going to do. All of this stuff, right? As they're sort of debriefing and decompressing all of their, all right, let me know if it looks like, yeah, it just jumped down and hopefully it just jumped back up. So in this Married at First Sight Australian version, they were fighting with each other. Of course, it is reality TV at the most reality TV in this that there is. And one of the people said, well, what they did was hurtful. And I heard that. I've heard this 1 million times in 1 million different ways. But I really think that it's time to talk to our insanity. Our insanity of what somebody else can say, how we take it up. What somebody else says to you is, you being hurt by it is your choice. It's your choice. Because then you're taking on their ideas, their thoughts, their personalities, their opinions, and making them bigger than who you are. And I don't know if you've been listening to this channel for a while or not, but geez, oh Pete, you are an enormous soul. You have just forgot. I really want to untangle this insanity where it looks as if what somebody else can say on the surface can really hurt you. It can only hurt you if you agree that it hurts you. Okay. I know that's a harder message because people don't want to hear it. It's not it's not thin, it's not sexy, and its tits aren't hanging out. But it is the truth. The absolute truth is that you will not, you have to decide something is hurtful and painful. Somebody can say something and you could decide, well, that's just the way they think. It's not got nothing to do with me. It's got nothing to do how I view myself. It is not anybody else's job. And I know I put this up there. It's not anybody else's job to, it's not anybody else's job to like you. It's your job to like you. Not anybody else's, not your neighbors, not your friends, not even your spouses. It is not your business. It is your business how you move in the world, how you feel about yourself, how you hold yourself. Not to do it so that your neighbors, your friends, your spouses like you, but so that you can just be you. And there's freedom in that. Freedom, like true freedom. I swear, give it a try. Let me know how that feels. Try it on because, oh, there we go. I did it again somehow. We'll see. Somehow I'm missing messages until later. So really, check that insanity and see what and really try and play with it. And you can play with it. I mean, there are millions of examples. Like, oh my gosh, maybe they didn't say thank you. I don't know if you're a person who gets mad about that. But try it in your everyday life. They didn't say this. They didn't do this. They didn't just say blah, blah, blah. I want you. Oh, Ursula and I will still get together. For sure. We just got to all make it happen. Okay, there we are. Hang on a second. Hey, I should not do this. I'm right-handed and I'm not left-handed, which I hate to admit. You get more free every day. That is fantastic, Lisa. Seriously, this is freedom. This is about freedom in your life. It matters because you're going to be moving it. Because here's the deal. I mean, I know. I have a client right at 7:30, so I don't know if we'll get to messages today. But I do have to say this. This is about freedom. And the more that you do it, the more you allow other people to do it. And you know what happens? What happens is this. You begin not to get upset. Check. You be able to get not upset, and you truly allow people to be themselves. And it allows you to be present in the moment, feeling every emotion, feeling how you're moving, how they're moving, and that gets you free to actually truly be present. Now, there are a lot of, and I love this, there are a lot of like salespeople out there, let's say. So we got a bunch of salespeople, and not that you're on here, because I'm not saying that, oh, I don't know what's going. Something just happened, and it's we will get together this year. Let's just say there's sales techniques out there. You mimic people. So you're using your mirror neurons to try and act like somebody, so you get in their graces, this kind of thing. How you actually listen is you're actually present in this now moment with them in their now moment. Now, that actually is a lot, because what can happen is you getting in your now moment and somebody else being in their now moment right now is pretty difficult, because most people are not in their now moments. Most people are living in the next moment, or the moment before, or the moment 10 years ago, or the moment when they were 3 years old, when this happened, that happened, and the other thing happened. What I'm saying is really, really radical, because the radicalness comes from you and your freedom, and beginning to, hi, Janice, you beginning to have absolute freedom away from anybody else's thoughts. You gotta and be free in the moment. Okay, so that's what I'm saying. Check your insanity. Don't allow what anybody else says to come in and hurt you. Doesn't mean you don't deal with it. You're not like, okay, forget about it. I don't have to do anything. I'm just not see you. That's not what I'm saying at all. What I'm actually saying is, what am I actually saying? I'm kidding. Just kidding. Sometimes I feel like I'm just talking to the middle of the air. I just keep talking to you guys and looking at what you're saying for some kind of guidance. And anyway, so it's as if you're getting this, if I'm making any sense. But it's not about not paying attention, actually. It's the opposite. It is truly about you being able to be in charge of your own energy. Because when you're in charge of your own energy, you can make the decision and you can try and you can truly then see somebody else's energy and how it's affecting you. Okay? So, okay, let's just see if we have anybody here. How about that? Everything can happen in 6 minutes. Okay, so, all right, so, it's interesting, Karen. You're like the first name I'm seeing, and it just keeps popping up in front of me. And so you, are you having some? Okay, what I'm seeing with you. Let me just say this differently. I'm trying to see things differently now, or say it differently. I'm seeing seasonal allergies with you, and they're making me so like the eyes and the nose is coming up. I mean, it's interesting that I keep being brought here because I feel the. It's okay. So there's so much coming in right now. One of the things I'm having is a grandmother, grandfather energy. They're making me feel as if you're in a touch of a hole right now, not feeling like, even though it's really pretty and it's really nice outside, that you're feeling like I've lost so much and how do I come back from this and where do I actually, and I'm getting shown like, I just want you to know, like you're being held in this position, like this position. I don't know where you can see me or not. You're being held in this position. What they're showing me is that this is going to end. So I keep seeing this like as a oh, hi, Carrie. I miss you too. I just keep seeing this. I just keep seeing this as you getting picked up, you getting held up, you getting like, this is going to end. And I feel a pretty significant relationship coming in. They're showing me a ring, which doesn't mean necessarily marriage, but they are showing me a very significant relationship that's going to start coming either the end of summer. So hold on, baby doll. It's all going to change. So just keep moving forward. And I want to, you know what's interesting? You asked that to me, Lisa. Lisa is asking, what is your experience of life on the other side? And I really want to answer that because that's been on my mind today too. Would you believe it or not? Sometimes when I just left to think, I think about a lot. So I want to share with everybody here what my brother told me his version of the other side is. Okay. So oops. All right. You can come in, Adam, if you want. I see you. Come on in. Get my clients here, but I'm going to finish this because I told you I would. So I want to explain what my brother told me, what his other side looks like. And I think this is so beautiful. It just makes me so happy. So one night I was really missing him, and him and I connected, and I asked him that specific thing. And he told me this. He said, Janny, yeah, not Yanni, but Janny. Janny, okay. It's a good thing I picked you, Karen, because you did need that, huh? Okay. Well, hang on. I got to tell you about Billy first, and then we'll see. So my brother's name is Billy, and this is what he said. He said, Janny, it's like being at the best party you have ever been at in your whole life. Meeting everybody you've ever wanted to meet is there. Everybody and everything, and the party goes on and on and on, and nobody ever gets tired, and nobody wants to go home, and it just never. Oh, that's the other thing. Never runs out of food, never runs out of beer, never runs out of anything. Nobody has to go anywhere. They're just happy, 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 and moving forward with each other. I just think it's one of my best ideas of the other side that I've ever seen. Now, granted, if you don't drink beer, which I don't, or you don't drink, which I really don't, it doesn't have to be part of it. It's just the best party and the best closeness and having relationships that are reflected back to you to who you really are. So for this week, one of the things I'd love for you to do is, it's going to be weird what I'm about to say. It's going to sound weird, okay? Is before you get down on yourself, I want you to think about me. I want you to think of how I see your soul. Think of how I see you. Not how your boss, how maybe a sibling or a parent or this. Nothing like that. Not how anybody else is talking or maybe seeing you, reflecting things that you maybe didn't get right the first time, but now you can get it done, get it right now. Think about that. Think about your ability to wake up every morning and do it again, because the way I am different and the way Ursula is different, it's like seriously, there's nothing wrong with you. You are amazing. You are amazing. You just forgot. So see light, be light. Karen, you can get a hold of me. You know how to do that. I'm sending you all of my love and joy for this week. I will be sending you, wrapping you up in sweet little angel blessings. And at some point, I swear to God, there's going to be a shirt. So I'll see you later. Take care. Have a wonderful night. Bye-bye. Always takes a second. Can never just end it. Do you ever watch Mediumship Mondays?